Hello everyone, my name is Jen. Welcome to Self-Made Finance, where we teach you to be your own finance manager. In a layman's language, we give you the basic financial management skill that you need to take hold of your finances. Today we're talking about how to beat inflation. You know, everywhere in the world, everybody's talking about high inflation rate. But what does it mean to the ordinary man? How is it affecting your life? What can you do personally to beat inflation or to manage inflation? In this video, I'll give you this and more. Welcome back to Self-Made Finance, where we teach you to be your own finance manager. Before we move on, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell so that anytime we drop a video, you can have it. So let's go straight into it. So what is inflation? Inflation is basically the rate at which prices of goods and services are being increased. So the rate at which prices of goods and services rise up, that is inflation. So for example, if inflation is 31.7 as we have it in Ghana right now, it means that prices of goods and services are being increased at a rate of 31.7% on annual basis on average. That is what inflation means. So it means that if you buy something for a particular amount this year, averagely in the next year, if you want to buy the same thing, you will need to pay 31.7% more to be able to purchase that same thing. Let me come to monetary terms. If you buy something for 1,000 cedis today, in the next 1 year, if you want to buy the same thing, you will pay 1,317 cedis to be able to purchase the same thing that you purchased this year. That is what inflation means. So how does inflation affect your life? Two things or two ways. One, inflation affects the purchasing power of your money. It devalues your money. And that's what it means, you know. When you buy something for a particular amount today, in the next 1 year, with inflation going up, you are going to need more to purchase that same thing. It means that the value of that money that you have today is going to be low by next year, because the value of the money depends on how much or how many things you can buy with it. So in the next 1 year, if you can buy few things with that same money, it means that money has lost value. So with inflation going up, your money is losing value. I mean, if your money is losing in value, your net worth is also reducing. So this is how bad inflation is. So your money loses its value because of inflation. The second thing that can happen to you is that your investment is not giving you the return that it says it's giving you. And this is what I mean. You know, for example, if you go for an investment that is paying 30% and inflation is 20%, in actual sense, you are earning just 10% because inflation is eating 20% out of your 30%. So you're earning just 10%. This is how inflation affects your investment. So now that inflation is 31.7%, any investment that is paying less than this, you are actually receiving negative return. That is so horrible. And this is how horrible inflation is. So now that you know how horribly inflation is affecting your life, the main thing is, how do you beat inflation or how do you manage inflation? So I'm going to give you 5 things you can do to beat or manage inflation. And for those of you who can watch till the end of the video, I'll give you 2 bonus points also. Okay? So 5 main things you can do to beat inflation. The first thing you can do is to purchase assets that increase in value over time. Okay? There are some assets that reduces in value over time, but for some of them they increase over time. So you need to purchase assets that increase in value over time. A typical example is real estate. You know, real estate has proven to be an antidote for inflation for a very long time, especially in our part of the world. You know, for example, you know, when inflation goes up or prices of things go up, you know, rent also go up, the price of land also go up. So that is how it works. Real estate has really proven to be a very good place for investing your money just to counter inflation. So if you're thinking of doing that, think about real estate. For those who don't have that huge money to go into real estate, because real estate needs a lot of money to be able to do that. Okay, so if you don't have that kind of money, you can also think about going into real estate investment trust. That's a mutual fund that gather money from a lot of investors, and then they invest into real estate for the investors. So It could be something small, but you still get the chance to invest into real estate. The second thing you can do to manage inflation or to beat inflation is to increase your income lines or make more money. You know, the whole inflation thing has to do with your money losing its value. So if you're making more money, you can still purchase the things that you wanted to purchase. You know, for example, if you have 1,000 cedis, okay, and then you want to buy something next year, it is going to lose its value because of inflation, as I explained earlier. But then in the next 1 year, if you had made additional 1,000 cedis, it means that, you know, you can purchase that same thing again. Even though your 1,000 has lost its money, because you've made more money, you can still buy that thing. So one thing you can do to manage inflation is to make more money. Look for things you can do to increase your income lines. I have a video on multiple streams of income. You can go back and watch that and look at ways that you can be innovative about your income so that you can make more money, because if you don't do that, you're going to suffer from inflation. So if you really want to beat inflation, make more money. Thirdly, buy less. Buy less. I repeat, you know, you only feel inflation when you buy something, because when inflation is high, prices of goods and services go up. Okay, so you only feel it when you buy something. So you buy less, you feel inflation less. What can we do then? Because we need to still buy things. What can we do? What we can do, or what you can do, is to limit your wants. A lot of the things that we buy are things to satisfy our wants. So why don't we limit that? Let's concentrate our needs. Let's concentrate on the things that we need for our survival. Once we buy those things and we forget about wants, we wouldn't feel inflation that much because we buy less. So what you can do to buy less is to limit your wants. It's not everything that calls you that you need to answer financially. It's not everything that you crave for that you need to go for. Just concentrate on your needs and then forget about your wants if you can. So limit your wants so that you can buy less. The next thing you can do to limit inflation or to manage inflation is to resort to substitute. You know, even though generally inflation is high, prices of goods and services are being affected differently, because inflation is an average figure. So definitely some will go up more than others. So resort to substitute. If there's something you are buying that is becoming too expensive, just resort to something else that can do the same thing at a lower cost. So let's resort to substitute if you want to beat inflation. So for example, if we're buying juice all the time and the price of juice is going up, why don't you resort to natural juice or natural fruits? If you're buying orange juice, why don't you go for natural orange this time around, which is less expensive? So let's resort to substitute if you want to beat inflation. The number 5 thing you can do is to invest in businesses that increase prices in high inflation periods. You know, there are companies or businesses that automatically increase their prices when inflation is high. So if you're looking for a place to invest, it is good to invest in such companies, because when inflation goes up, their prices also go up, and so you don't lose. So that's how it works. So you look for companies that increase their prices, you know, when price of inflation or rate of inflation are high, so that you don't lose. So if you're trying to go to the stock market, you can do your research and look for those companies so that you can invest into those companies. If you are trying to venture into entrepreneurship yourself, look for sectors that have that trait so that you can invest your money into those places, so that you can lose your money when rates of inflation are high. Finally, my 2 bonus points to beat inflation. If you've been able to watch the video to this end, these are my 2 bonus points for you. The first one is to diversify your portfolio. You know, like I said, inflation affects different products differently. In the same way, it affects different investments differently, because their returns are different. You know, the return they give determine whether inflation is affected it that much or not. So if you put your money into only one venture and inflation affects it so much, you're going to be in trouble. So put your money into different ventures, different investment vehicles, so that if one goes up, the other one will come down, so that you wouldn't feel that impact so much. So diversify your portfolio if you want to beat inflation. My second bonus point is to invest in yourself and increase your marketable skills. Make yourself marketable so that you can attract different fans. For example, if you are a salary worker and then you're not promoted, you don't have salary increase, and inflation keeps going up, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be in trouble. So invest in yourself so that you can be more marketable, so that when inflation goes up, your funds also go up, your salary also goes up, so that you won't be in trouble. So invest in yourself, be more marketable, be more attractive to different companies that are willing to pay more, because inflation is not waiting for you. Wow, thank you for watching this episode of Self-Made Finance. I know you are ready to tackle inflation. I know you are ready to beat inflation. God bless you and all the best.